Hello my friends, welcome to a new video. Today I will be talking about pedals and specifically Fanatec pedals with a load cell. The CSL pedals have been released in 2021 and are without doubt the biggest sellers of Fanatec when it comes to pedals. Not long after the release, a load cell brake was included in the options list for upgrading and available in a package as CSL Pedals LC. The pedal base consists of 3 pedal units that are attached to a connecting heel plate. This approach allows for a better configuration when it comes to the spacing between the pedals. It also gives you full control to even remove the clutch pedal if you don't plan on using a shifter. The general design is quite nice. Because of the use of mostly metal, they feel more premium than other pedals from the same price category. Apart from the very cheap looking pedal faces, the pedal base looks great and important to some, certainly doesn't look and feel like a toy. When it comes to technology, the pedals are equipped with magnetic Hall sensors. This type of sensor is more resilient to dust and dirt than the older generation of pedals featuring potentiometers. The brake has been equipped with a load cell. I couldn't really find the official number of weight the load cell was rated for, but supposedly it should be 60 kilograms of foot force. The configuration of the brake is standard and the stiffness cannot be changed out of the box. There are, however, always solutions available to stiffen up the brake on the aftermarket if needed. The pedal faces are the only part that is made of plastic, a shame, but Fanatec has you covered when you want to pimp up the experience with a couple of very nice metal pedal faces, so nothing that can't be fixed. The pedal faces can be moved slightly up and down over the pedal arms. A connection can be made with both RJ12 directly to the wheelbase and via USB to a PC as a standalone. The pedals are compatible with all the platforms out there, but for console they do require the connection via RJ12 to a compatible Fanatec wheelbase. When driving with these pedals, there are some things that stood out. The first thing would be that they actually felt very decent to drive. The difference is all in the brake. It's probably the best and first upgrade you should consider when deciding to add some more money to your hobby. The difference between non-load cell brakes with a rubber stopper and these is comparable to when you upgrade from a gear-driven wheelbase to a direct drive. Night and day. With its 60 kg capacity, it should in theory score less than the 90 kg load cells that come with the CSL Elite and Clubsport V3s, but the difference is, in my humble opinion, not so big than what it is hyped to be. I felt that the inputs of both accelerator and brake were sufficient enough to make the car behave as I wanted it to. The stiffness of the brake, is personal. For ACC I would have liked it to be a bit stiffer, and for BMG a bit lighter and more travel. All is pretty much dependent on game and personal preference, and as said before, the CSL pedals do not have an out-of-the-box means to change the feeling of it. In the end, I do believe they managed to create a good compromise for the majority of drivers. Of the 3 pedal sets I tested, I found these the hardest to adapt to when it came to braking. The driving sensation was very pleasurable, both in ACC and BMG. I usually wear light shoes for driving, and even with those on, I could feel the cheapness of the plastic faces poking through the soles. In the end, you get a very solid and decent solution for €70, and with the load cell a very competitive package bang for buck wise at €200. The CSL Elite V2 pedals were released at the end of 2022 and was in essence an upgrade to the existing V1 pedals. A year or 2 ago I tested the V1 pedals and I was really impressed with how they looked and felt. Again, as with the CSL pedals, the pedals are attached to a central heel plate and you have the liberty to play around with the position of the pedals and even leave out the clutch if necessary. Like with the original Elite pedals, they are also made out of casts and machined aluminium, and this choice really adds premium to the kit. It looks and feels solid, and out of the 3, this one will age the best when it comes to scratches and other cosmetic damages. One of the upgrades in comparison with the V1 is the usage of Hall sensors. Again, an almost undeniable improvement for modern day pedals. The load cell is another piece that has been updated and has a rating of 90 kilograms of foot force. The CSL Elite V2 pedals unlike the CSL pedals, are not an upgrade kit. You buy the entire set and it comes with the 3 pedals, an integrated load cell, some rubber pedal faces, an extra stiffer preload spring and extra elastomers to adapt the sensation of the brake. With the included elastomers, you are able to get them pretty hard and more suitable for competitive racing. Like the CSL pedals, it comes with 2 means of connecting it, being the RJ12 and USB. The pedal faces are made out of metal and are equipped with a removable rubber coating. It may be a small detail, but it is the first thing you feel that separates the CSL Elites from the standard CSL pedals. Even with my shoes on, I directly feel the dampening rubber surface of the pedal, and it feels very comfortable when using it. It's strange that such a small and cheap detail can make such a change in the driving sentiment. Out of the 3 pedal sets, these pedals are the most easy to adapt to out of the box. The throttle pedal has a small rubber damper at the end of the travel, which is also a bit different than the clunk you get with the CSL pedals. Again, a very small detail. The same goes for the included clutch pedal that has a small rubber stopper to it to stop it from making too much noise when used. I don't necessarily feel a lot of difference between the accelerators and the clutches of both the CSL set, but the brake does feel a bit more progressive due to the use of a spring-elastomer combination. Both feel out of the box the same when it comes to travel and hardness, but there is no doubt that with the added customization options you can make this brake feel just the way you want it. Mind you, while it is a tool-free manipulations to exchange the spring and elastomers, it is not something you want to do every time you change games. A last thing I wanted to add, which can be solved by some software configuration, is that it did generate some braking power when my foot was in rest against the pedal. This is something I didn't really notice as a problem with the CSL pedals. At a price of €300, it is quite a step up from the €200 of the CSL load cell pedals. The last pedals to be tested are the ones I used most and are also the oldest of the bunch. Released nearly a decade ago in 2015, the Clubsport V3 has been the flagship of Fanatec pedals during that time. From the first moment I saw them, I fell in love with the absolutely stunning design and colors. The entire pedal base is one structure and the pedals can't really be moved or removed from it. At least not via a Fanatec approved way. This makes them more limited in configuration than the other tested pedal sets. The brushed aluminium simply looks fantastic, but all this bling bling will make it more vulnerable for cosmetic damages. The red accents on it finish off the design, making this really stand out on any rig it is fixed upon. When it comes to technology, Fanatec decided to go all in with these pedals. The main feature, the 90 kg load cell, can be adjusted in stiffness via turning the wheel on the pedal and is by far the most easy way to configure it out of the 3 bases. The clutch used is the aggressive one, meaning that it attempts to simulate a biting point of the clutch. And there is more. It comes with 2 different sets of pedal faces, a set of aluminium ones and another set of hard plastic ones that are more suitable for GT cars. The pedal faces also come with clamps to further adjust the position of the pedal faces in all directions. This was really a necessity since the pedals themselves cannot be moved. The accelerator spring can also be replaced by a harder one out of the box. A last thing to mention would be the rumble motors on both the accelerator and brake, which can provide you with a tad of extra immersion when you are driving along. There are also a few add-ons available for these pedals if you would want to customize the feeling even more. You can get a set of different elastomers and a damper kit for the brake. Connection, as with the other pedal bases, happens via RJ12 or USB. When you drive them in ACC, you will notice that even on the hardest of setting for the brake, they still display a lot of treble and don't really feel that stiff at all. I could have done with a or a few higher levels of tension for it. Fortunately, Fanatec does offer different elastomers for it, but as usual, it comes at a price. But that is about the only thing I can really say for the pedals that I didn't like. The accelerator feels very smooth, gliding more than the other 2, I also don't really feel a difference in the resistance with this one and the other set, but that is nothing bad since I find the resistance on the other bases good to very good. Probably what is the most interesting thing of driving this set in ACC is the rumble motors. Granted, as with TDFB or True Force, it can be seen as a gimmick, but as you guys know, I'm a sucker for these things and the rumblers on the V3 are no different. Feeling your pedals vibrate when you go faster or when the ABS kicks in just adds that bit of extra zest to the driving experience. While I would call the ride in ACC most satisfying, it gets even better in BeamNG. Here, the use of the clutch pedal comes into play. Unlike any other pedal base I have tested so far, the Fanatec Clubsport V3 pedals have been equipped with a digressive clutch. This tries to simulate a biting point in the clutch operation. Of course, this is a pure mechanical part and is not in any way linked to the game telemetry to control it. But again, as with the rumblers, it just adds to the complete package of immersion when you want to simulate the driving of a car. With a price of €400, the V3 pedals are not what you would call cheap and the double of CSL LC pedals. The unavoidable question that has been asked a million of times on social media then pops up again. Which are the best pedals? My answer to this is a simple all of them. I like all of them. The CSL LC pedals are a budget way to get into simulated driving. They are a one-size-fits-all piece of hardware that doesn't disappoint. The basic 2-pedal set can go as low as €70 or even less in the second-hand market, and with its upgrade possibilities, it is very tailored for budget-conscious people. With a 3-pedal CSL LC pedal set, you have a fine piece of hardware under your feet that gets the job done. It is certainly an excellent buy for recreational drivers and one of the best sets bang for buck you can get from the mainstream manufacturers. The CSL Elite V2 pedals are a complete package more aimed at competitive use. Because of its rugged cast aluminium structure, it is more sturdy than the other two kits and will perform best under intensive use. Because of the included different elastomers, the ability to configure the position of the entire pedal and even get rid of the clutch if necessary, it is the best tool for serious racers out there. They are about €100 more expensive than the CSL LC pedals, but if you look at the improvements, the added money is certainly worth it in the long run. If CSL Elite pedals can be compared to a Volkswagen Golf, the Clubsport V3 pedals can be compared to that beautiful Cadillac you have in the garage with the nicely finished chrome bumpers and fantastic seats that make driving a car a pleasure. There are means to make them more competitive with the brake performance kit or the damper kit, but if you really want performance, you should opt for the CSL Elite ones and not these. The V3s are as much of a showpiece as they are fun to drive with them costing 2 times as much as the CSL pedals. They are not cheap, but at least when you pull them out of the box and have a first look and feel of them, you know why they cost double. If I would need to make a choice, well, for me it is easy. I am a sim driver, not a sim racer, and I would prefer the V3 pedals over the performance of the CSL Elite V2 pedals. It's simply the matter of the clutch. So the clutch that they have with V3 pedals, it feels just a bit better immersion wise than the other clutches on the CSL and the CSL Elite. And for me, it just is worth the upgrade, the €100 upgrade. It is really worth it. Combine this also with the way it looks and with the little motors on the accelerator and brake, and well, for me, these are really the best pedals. While I don't really find it that relevant, I would want to share the fastest lap times of these pedal sets with you. I was able to set the fastest lap with the V3 pedals, but the difference between them and the Elite V2 pedals was just 0.04 of a second. The CSL pedal scored a bit off with 0.4 of a second, but still very small margins and difficult to declare which pedals were really faster. I do have to say, with the CSL Elite pedals I was able to get the best lap on lap 6, and with the others it was after lap 10. This is mainly because I was able to adapt faster to these pedals than the other two sets. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Please leave a like if you did. If you buy new hardware, please don't forget to buy via an affiliate link. That way you support us content creators. And I will see you all next video. Bye bye.